Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Rocky Balboa, starring Sylvester Stallone, Burt Young, Antonio Tarver, Geraldine Hughes, Milo Ventimiglia, and Tony Burton, and directed by Sylvester Stallone. Now, I did see this in theaters, and what did I think of it? Let's talk about it. It's been years since Rocky V. Now Rocky Balboa, returned by Sylvester Stallone, Paulie, returned by Burt Young, are still there, while Adrian is lying under the ground, dead, I guess for the best. Sorry, Talia Shire. Robert is all grown up and played by Milo Ventimiglia, and has a job of his own, and this movie is kind of a plot, but with Rocky versus Mason Dixon, played by Antonio Tarver, which won't be brought up until later in the movie. That kind of bothers me, in that the first half of this movie has no plot whatsoever. Rocky has a restaurant named after his wife, Adrian, and feeds guests, for example, Spider Rico. And why would you bring up Spider Rico after the original classic and is, again, a real problem? Rocky goes back to this place he remembers with Adrian for the anniversary and first asked out Adrian, which was completely melodramatic, and Paulie acts like an ass because he's a cranky old man, and that's not the problem. The problem I'm having is why go back to the first movie? It didn't make a lot of sense to me. What makes matters worse is we bring back little Marie, now an adult, and is played by Geraldine Hughes, who I've seen this actress in 3 years later in Clint Eastwood's. And I honestly don't think she's a very good actress. Because after Gran Torino, she's never worked in anything ever again I've seen her in. Ever again. And I don't want to either. Same goes to the actor who plays Steps, and I've never seen him in much after this movie either. Rocky and Steps go to the dog pound and pick up a dog and name him Punchy, which was a joke by Steps, and I like that sweet little doggy. Even though it looks ugly, sure, but it's a cute dog. Rocky versus Mason Dixon Looney Tunes looking fight as a computer CGI looking thing, and that makes Rocky sign up for a fighting license. And that honestly felt like that old saying, out with the old, in with the new. And it felt too risky for this movie to go that, like, right after that far, but it goes there by the end of the day, and that really bugs me. Little Marie reluctantly agrees to work at Rocky's restaurant after Rocky asks her, and she starts working there, and Paulie gets let go at a job where he worked at for years, and he says he's retired, and he gets loud and obnoxious as usual at the restaurant. Was just plain melodramatic. Rocky gets approached by Mason Dixon's manager and promoter to promote the Rocky vs. Dixon fight in Las Vegas. And Rocky reluctantly agrees. Now, why does he agree to box again? Mason Dixon is... and it's beyond me. But the problem I'm having is, please don't kill me for saying this, but he's too old to box again. It's a younger man, in my opinion. Sorry, guys. Duke, who I barely mentioned in the other movies and returned by Tony Burton, is helping getting Rocky ready for the fight, and I do like that. The problem I'm having is this movie is turning the old people are right, and the stupid kids are wrong, and it felt very cliched to death, to the point I was ready to check out of this movie at this point, and there's 40 more minutes left of movie, and I was ready for the ending boxing match. So we get to Las Vegas where the fight is, and the fight begins, and Mason doesn't want to hurt Rocky because he's old, sorry to disappoint, and they have no choice but to hurt each other at the fight, and Mike Tyson shows up to support Mason, and Rocky's song as being introduced as this Frank Sinatra song called High Hopes. And I do like that song. And Mason's song is another good song. It's called It's a Fight. And the fight goes typical. except Mason wins the split decision, and that's fair and adequate of an ending, and I didn't mind that as much. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 4.0 out of 10. This movie got a little too cliched to death. It's the same movie but done poorly, kind of like that how Indiana Jones ended the last movie, and the characters felt a little weaker than the previous movies, and it does things like bring back stuff from the original movie, and that didn't make me happy. So I'll be back next week with Creed, and until next time, hey yo, Paulie, hit the music!